This week, the theme of coming back together is at the forefront of my mind for a couple of reasons. Firstly, the reopening committee has been working unbelievably hard to try to find a way to help us all come back together to pray safely in the same sacred space, the same physical space. We're a little way off completing that, but we are really close. And it's very exciting to think that soon we will be able to come back together to pray in the same room as each other. But the theme of coming back together also comes to my mind when thinking about the current crisis in the Middle East. In traditional Judaism, the Messianic age is a time when everyone comes together to believe the same thing in the God of Judaism. Traditional Judaism believes in its own rightness and therefore in the wrongness of other ways of following God and worshipping God, and therefore understands that the world can only be perfected if everyone thinks, prays, acts in a very similar way. And that comes to my mind especially now, especially this week. I'm reminded of the Tower of Babel, that moment when humanity split up, started truly expressing its difference. That moment is the moment of uniqueness, the moment of dialogue. It's the moment when we have the opportunity to learn from each other. Not to assume that everyone is the same as us or should be thinking the same as us. In fact, it's the opposite. It's the place where we can dialogue and learn and grow. The strength of humanity is not in our similarity, but in our willingness to learn from our diversity. So in some sense, as I see this crisis unfolding in the Middle East this week, as we see the terrible loss of life, I wonder if moving forward towards the Messianic age is different to how it was traditionally envisaged in Judaism. I wonder if it is in fact a coming back together. A coming back together to that point of the Tower of Babel, that point of being unified in common humanity, and yet different and distinct. Maybe the Messianic age comes when we truly respect the other, when we can come back together to learn from each other, to hear of each other's struggles, to share our own pain and to hear the pain of others, so that we may come back together to live in peace. I hope that you will be able to join us for our Kabbalat Shabbat service this evening, where my sermon will be on the current crisis and the theme of the service will be on peace. I hope that you can join us tomorrow morning for our Torah study, where we look at the book of Daniel. And I hope that you can join us for our Tikkun Leil Shavuot on Sunday evening, a fascinating, wonderful exploration of the book of Genesis from a multitude of differing perspectives. My hope, my prayer, is that we may come back together soon. That we, the Jewish community, may come back together and pray together and gather together. And that we, the global community, can soon put down weapons, put down instruments of war, come back together to listen, to learn, to appreciate our common humanity. I wish you Shabbat Shalom.